There comes a moment in every believer's life when God begins to move in ways you did not expect. You feel something changing deep inside you, even before anything changes outside of you. This inner shift is not random. It is the first sign that heaven is aligning something powerful for your life. Whenever God is preparing to bless you, He does not start by changing your circumstances first. He begins by changing you. He stirs your spirit. He awakens your hunger. He removes your distractions, and He pushes you into a new level of spiritual awareness. You may feel uncomfortable, uncertain, or even confused, but this is the divine shaking that prepares your soul for the next season. God is telling you, without words, get ready. Something is coming. You begin to feel a holy restlessness, sense that you can no longer stay where you are mentally, spiritually, or emotionally. Things that were once acceptable become too small for the person God is building inside you. You don't know why, but you feel pushed toward growth. This restlessness is not anxiety, it is preparation. It is God breaking the walls of your comfort zone, because the blessing He is about to release cannot fit inside your old environment. You feel like something greater is calling you, something deeper is pulling you, something invisible is guiding you forward. That is the voice of God nudging your destiny. Then suddenly, doors start to close. Doors you like, doors you prayed for, doors you believed were right for you. At first, it feels like loss. You wonder why God would take away things that once seemed good. But later, you realize that every closed door was divine protection. God closes doors not to punish you, but to redirect you. A closed door is a blessing in disguise, because behind it is something that would have limited your purpose. God loves you too much to let you settle for less than what you are destined for. When He closes a door, it is because He has prepared a better one with your name written on it. Before every elevation comes isolation. God isolates you not because people are bad, but because He wants to speak to you without noise. You begin to notice that some relationships fade away, some friends grow distant, and some people stop showing the support they once gave. Don't fight the separation. God is not removing people from your life. He is removing distractions, jealousy, wrong intentions, and hidden motives. Everyone cannot go where God is taking you. The next blessing requires spiritual clarity, emotional strength, and unwavering focus. But God takes you into isolation to refine your character and prepare you for a platform that requires maturity. When God is preparing to bless you, the enemy becomes louder. You face battles you didn't see coming. Attacks appear from nowhere, financial pressure, emotional heaviness, sudden fear, unexpected delays. These attacks are not signs that you're going backward. They are proof that you are getting close to breakthrough. The enemy does not fight what does not threaten him. If your life is under spiritual battle, it is because something big is coming your way. The devil can sense your blessing before you do. He attacks your mind because he cannot stop God's plan. So he tries to stop you from believing in it. But remember this, the battle intensifies right before the victory. Another sign is when the things you relied on suddenly stop working. The people you depended on become unavailable. The plans you trusted fall apart. Even your own strength feels insufficient. Why does God allow this? Because He wants your next season to be built on Him, not on human support. God removes your crutches so you can discover the strength He placed inside you. When the familiar breaks, because God is building you for something bigger. He is teaching you to walk by faith, not by sight. The blessing you are about to receive requires spiritual independence and divine confidence. Then, almost out of nowhere, favor begins to appear. Opportunities show up without your effort. People begin mentioning your name in rooms you've never entered. Doors open that you didn't even pray for. This is a sign that God's hand is on your life. Favor is heaven's announcement that your blessing is near. You begin to realize that what is happening is beyond your ability. It is supernatural. When God decides to bless you, it will not be through your power, your qualifications, or your connections. It will be through His grace. No one can block what He has chosen to release. One of the most powerful signs that God is preparing to bless you is the peace you feel in the middle of chaos. Everything around you may be uncertain, but your heart is calm. Your mind is steady. Your spirit is quiet. That peace is not natural. It is divine. It is God whispering, I am in control. This peace protects your mind from fear and your faith from doubt. It is God's confirmation that even if things look impossible, He's already working behind the scenes. This peace is the final sign before the blessing manifests. As God prepares you for the blessing, He begins transforming your inner life. Your desires change. Your habits shift. Your priorities realign. Things that once mattered don't matter anymore. You begin craving spiritual growth, deeper prayer, and divine purpose. God refines your identity because the blessing requires a better version of you. He removes insecurity, fear, and self-doubt. He strengthens your character, increases your wisdom, and deepens your faith. This transformation is not accidental. It is the foundation for the blessing He is about to place in your hands. When you look back, you start to see how everything worked together. The closed doors, the separation, the battles, the restlessness, the changes, the favor, the peace. They were all pieces of the same puzzle. God was shaping your destiny. He was arranging your steps. He was preparing you for something greater than you imagined. You realized that every painful moment was part of a divine strategy. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. God used it all to push you toward His purpose. When God is preparing to bless you, He not only removes certain people, He removes certain cycles. Patterns that kept you stuck begin to break. Situations that held you back suddenly lose their power. You may notice that you can no longer tolerate negativity, drama, or spiritual stagnation. Your soul becomes allergic to anything that slows your growth. This internal shift is God disconnecting you from old environments that are too small for your future. He is breaking generational limitations, mental barriers, and emotional chains. Because the blessing you're stepping into requires freedom, not bondage. Another sign is heightened discernment. You start sensing things more clearly. You can recognize people's real tensions without them speaking. You can detect deception, manipulation, and spiritual danger instantly. This is not paranoia. It is God sharpening your spiritual vision. He is training you to see the unseen, because the blessing He is preparing requires wisdom, protection, and awareness. Discernment is heaven's gift to those about to walk into a new level of destiny. Suddenly, the ordinary life doesn't satisfy you anymore. You feel a deep desire to rise higher, to live with purpose, to walk in excellence. You recognize that God didn't create you for average things. He created you for impact. This hunger for more is not ambition, it is calling. God is awakening the potential He planted inside you. He is steering gifts, awakening talents, and activating dreams that were sleeping. When God is preparing to bless you, He doesn't just change your life. He changes your expectations. Right before the blessing, God confronts your weaknesses. He brings to the surface the insecurities, the fears, the habits, and the attitudes that would sabotage your next season if left unhealed. At first, this feels overwhelming. You may feel exposed or uncomfortable, but this confrontation is an act of love. God is removing everything that could destroy the blessing once it arrives. He is refining your character so that you can carry the weight of what He is about to place in your hands. When the time is right, God opens doors that no human can close. Opportunities arrive suddenly. People begin to help you without knowing why. Plans that once seemed impossible begin to fall into place effortlessly. What would have taken years happens in months. What would have taken months happens in weeks. And what would have taken weeks happens in days. This acceleration is proof that God has stepped in. The blessing becomes unstoppable. His timing replaces your striving. As God prepares you for the blessing, your purpose becomes clearer. You start realizing why certain things happened the way they did. You understand why you went through certain battles, why you were isolated, why you were broken, why you were stretched, and why you were strengthened. Every season begins to make sense. Your purpose becomes a compass guiding your decisions, shaping your mindset, and directing your steps. God reveals your purpose right before He releases your blessing. Because purpose is what protects the blessing. Everything starts aligning. Right people, right resources, right opportunities, right timing. God brings the right connections into your life. People who see your value, honor your call, and push you toward destiny. He removes the wrong voice and introduces the right ones. He aligns circumstances in ways you couldn't plan or predict. This alignment is not coincidence. It is orchestration. God is arranging every detail so that when the blessing arrives, nothing is missing and nothing is broken. The things that once attracted you no longer pull you. God replaces old desires with godly desires. He gives you new dreams, new goals, new visions, new passions. You start wanting what heaven wants for you. Your heart becomes aligned with His will. This transformation is proof that the blessing is near, because God will never give you something you are not spiritually prepared to handle. Right before the blessing manifests, there is a moment of stillness, a quiet season, a moment where everything becomes calm, not because the problems are gone, but because God has taken over. This calmness is the eye of the storm. The moment right before everything changes. It is God giving you rest before He gives you elevation. When your heart becomes calm, your blessing is near. Many people think blessings appear suddenly, but in reality, blessings begin within you. God first blesses your mindset, your vision, your spirit, your faith. He strengthens your inner world so that your outer world can expand. When you begin feeling healed, hopeful, confident, and spiritually awakened, those are signs that the blessing has already started forming. The external blessing is simply the final step of what God has already built inside your heart. Before God blesses you, He transforms how you see yourself. He removes the identity given by pain, failure, disappointment, and fear. He replaces it with identity rooted in purpose, strength, and destiny. You begin to see yourself as God sees you, chosen, called, anointed, and capable. This shift is crucial because your next blessing requires a new level of self-belief. The last stage before the blessing is the most intense. You may feel tired emotionally drained, or stretched thin. But this is the final stage, the point where your spirit is being strengthened for the weight of what's coming. Do not misinterpret this season. It is not the end. It is the preparation for a new beginning. You are on the verge of stepping into what God has been preparing for you all along. When God is preparing to bless you, He begins healing wounds you thought were permanent. Suddenly, conversations that once triggered you don't affect you anymore. Pain that once overwhelmed you begins to fade. Memories that once hurt become testimonies of strength. This inner healing is God's way of making space for new joy, new opportunities, and new levels of blessing. He cannot pour fresh blessings into a heart still bleeding from old wounds. So He heals you silently, gently, deeply, because the blessing He is preparing requires a whole and restored heart. Every blessing requires a new level of faith. And right before the blessing comes, God tests your faith, not to punish you, but to strengthen you. He allows situations where you have nothing left except trust in Him. He places you in moments where logic fails, but faith speaks. These faith tests are not meant to break you. They are meant to prove you. God is building spiritual muscles inside you so that when the blessing arrives, you can carry it with maturity and gratitude. Suddenly you start having moments of clarity, ideas that feel inspired, thoughts that feel guided, plans that seem too wise to be your own. This is God downloading insight into your spirit. He begins giving you direction for the next chapter of your life. He shows you what to focus on, what to let go of, whom to trust, and what to avoid. These insights are not random, they are instructions for elevation. God always reveals direction before He reveals manifestation. Things that once stressed you suddenly become easier. Situations that used to overwhelm you no longer control you. Responsibilities that felt heavy now feel manageable. This is divine grace. God is strengthening you in areas where you once struggled, because the blessing He is about to give requires confidence, growth, and stability. When you start noticing grace in your weakness, it's a sign that God is preparing you for something bigger. Even if you don't know why, you start waking up with a sense of hope. You feel something shifting. You sense breakthrough approaching. Your spirit begins expecting something you cannot yet see. This expectation is not imagination. It is spiritual awareness. God is letting your heart feel what your eyes cannot yet witness. Expectation is the seed of manifestation. When God wants to bless you, He places anticipation in your spirit. Right before the blessing, God removes your tolerance for time-wasting people and unproductive habits. You begin valuing your time, your energy, and your mental peace more than ever before. You stop entertaining meaningless conversations, empty friendships, and purposeless activities. This is God sharpening your focus. He is preparing you to steward the blessing with wisdom and discipline. God will always make you prepare before He blesses you. You may feel called to clean your space, fix your routines, improve your habits, learn new skills, or mentally organize your life. These urges are not coincidence. They are preparation signals from God. Before God blesses Noah with a new world, He told him to build an ark. Before God blessed Joseph with leadership, He prepared him through responsibility. Preparation is the language of expectation. If you feel the urge to prepare, your breakthrough is near. You start noticing divine redirections, small promptings telling you what to avoid, where to go, who to trust, and what decisions to make. God begins adjusting your path step by step. removing obstacles and rerouting your journey so it leads directly to your blessing. Even delays become divine protection. Even setbacks become divine alignment. God is not slowing you down. He is positioning you correctly. Suddenly you realize you have matured. You react differently. You speak differently. You think differently. You forgive faster. You let go easier. You choose peace over drama. This growth is not accidentally. It is God shaping your heart for the next level. Every blessing from God requires a responsible, mature, measured version of you. If you're growing without effort, it means God's hand is on your life. When God is preparing to bless you, darkness loses its power. Depressing thoughts fade. Negative voices lose influence. Fear becomes weaker. God surrounds your spirit with light, hope, clarity, strength, and confidence. You begin feeling spiritually protected, as if something unseen is guarding you. That is God fortifying your spirit for the blessing. You begin noticing scriptures, quotes, messages, and signs that speak directly to your situation. It feels as if God is sending you confirmations everywhere. These are divine whispers, reminders that He is near, He is listening, and He is working. God uses these signs to strengthen your faith right before the blessing arrives. You may not see physical results yet, but your spirit feels close to breakthrough. It's like standing at the edge of something new. You can feel the transition. You can sense the shift. You know something is coming. You just don't know when or how. This spiritual closeness is a major sign. The blessing is already released in the unseen realm, and it is on its way to the physical. People begin treating you differently. Some respect you more. Some become jealous. Some become distant. Don't be surprised. This is spiritual atmosphere shift. God is adjusting the people around you to match the blessing. Some will be removed, some will be repositioned, and some will be elevated with you. Blessings don't come alone. They come with new environments. Your past stops calling your name. Old things lose their attraction. Your heart refuses to go backward. This is God pushing you into a new season. He is closing chapters without your permission because the next chapter requires your obedience, not your comfort. My friend, if you are experiencing these signs, then understand this clearly. God is preparing you for a blessing that will redefine your life. Not a small blessing, not a temporary blessing, not a partial blessing, but a blessing that will restore what you lost, elevate who you are, and take you into the place He promised. You are not being forgotten, you are being prepared. You are not being delayed, you are being positioned. What God has for you is already written, already destined, and already on its way. The blessing you've been praying for is closer than ever. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Your breakthrough is near, very near.